everyone, it's Anya here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and today is the last video of our cowl, and here we are doing the assembly but also some alternatives. Okay, so before I assemble the poncho, I want to show you some alternatives. So if the worst comes to the worst and you don't like the poncho idea, then I suggest you take your panels and you fold them double, and look, I have just put this round the cushion, and you sew up the three sides and you have a cushion cover. Okay, now obviously this cushion doesn't even fit this size of blanket here, this size of the panels, but you know, it's just an idea, so you would have to find a cushion that fits that size. I think this, looking at this looks fabulous as a cushion. I've also put a cushion inside, you know, just folded it round. You do up the three sides and I think it looks really nice as a cushion. So there you go. So that's two options, or one option anyway, that you could do to turn your, both your panels into something else. What I also suggest you do in the pattern is have this one out like this and then put your squares around it. Okay, all the way around it, and that will make a nice baby blanket. What I would also like to suggest is to have this, then put your squares all together and then put a huge cushion inside. So you would have a cushion as big as that panel here, and I think that would work really well for, like, if you're sitting in the sofa to put behind your back. If you put a thinnish cushion in it, it could almost, you know, hug your back. To have a big cushion like that, or even, you know, a huge cushion like that in your on your bed would be nice as well. Or you could even use it as a big cushion for your pet to sleep on. Ray loved sleeping on this piece here. So you could also make more bits and pieces. So if you make another panel and another set of squares, you could possibly turn it into a lap blanket like this. This is nearly a single bed size, but if you as well double your squares, you will be able to make a proper bed size, single bed size blanket. So hopefully that has given you some more ideas. Okay, so assembling the poncho. We have two rectangles. We are going to put one lengthways and the other one we are going to put lengthways in the other direction. So they will touch there. Okay, go and have a look at the pattern, link below, because there is a sort of diagram of this and that will make sense. So we are going to attach these two sides together. We are going to crochet them together using either slip stitches or single crochets. Single crochets will give you a little bit of a ridge, slip stitches will be flatter. You will have stitches that you can pick up here. We're going to pick up the back loops, but here you won't have that luxury. So you will just have to try and pick up something sensible to attach your stitch with, basically to go into to do the stitch. And you have these here as a guide, so you can you know, see how many to pick up. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm a little bit closer now. There we go. And we are going to crochet both the bits together. So I have got another piece of yarn. I'm doing a slip knot, putting it around my hook, and I tend to either, like I said before, I tend to use a slip stitch or a single crochet. I am going to use a slip stitch because that will be thinner. So I'm going to try and just find whatever it is here that you think could be sort of, you know, the outer, you know, maybe the turning chain or whatever you think, you know, is the corner. And then here obviously we are going to pick up the actual corner space. You pull your yarn through and you do another pull through that loop on your hook, making it a slip stitch. So then you sort of gauge where this is, where the next stitch here is, and then you sort of have to pick up the same about here. So I'm just, yeah, it's, there we go. So I'm going to pick up this V here. So the outer loop, or the one that's closest to you, that's what I'm going to pick up. And yeah, here you just have to see what you pick up, sort of what lies here naturally almost, that's going to be your next stitch. Okay. Try and do this slowly, so you can sort of gauge really well what is what here. See, I've picked up something, it's 2 loops, that's fine. Okay, on this side, and then here on this side I just pick up the 1 loop. Okay, and so I just keep going with what I think my sort of crochet hook picks up automatically. This would be the whole stitch, which I think is too much. This here, yeah, that's a loop, and then the next one there. And just take your time doing this, okay? Just make sure you don't pull it too tight so it goes in, but if it's like this, it should be fine, okay? And it will lie a little bit on top of that. See here, I can just pick up that one, and then here the next one is this one. I keep on going out of frame. Let's try again. So this one here, and the next one there, and it's just a matter of, yeah, just, you know, taking your time and seeing, you know that this is a double crochet, so I would try and get 2 stitches out of that. So you go in sort of at the base of the double crochet here, and you put it together, and then you sort of go in at the top, and then you go to the next stitch. There we go. Okay, and then same thing again, although if I think doing 2 in each double crochet would be too much, so let's just see how it goes. There we go, and so on. So you're going to try and put this together for the length of your 4 squares. Okay, so you have 2 squares left over. So you've got to try and finish here. Okay, so like I said, do this at ease. It should work out, but yeah, try and get it to meet up nicely by picking up just, you know, sort of 1 to 2 stitches per length of a double crochet, and then it will look something like this. And to be honest, it will, you know, be flat enough to not sort of stand out too much. But if you like the ridge, then do use a single crochet, and here this is how it is going to look. You'll have sort of a dent there, but then this is the inside, because obviously now we are going to have an inside and an outside, because this here has a back and a front to it. Okay, the actual panel here does not have a back and a front because we've been working on it backwards, forwards, and so on. I will see you at the end of this row here. So I have made it to the end of this row here. So I have crocheted together the 2 panels. Do please go to the blog to see which bits you've got to put together, because it's difficult for me to show you, you know, sort of in my viewfinder. So yes, so the side of this panel to the 4 first squares of the other panel in the other direction. Okay, so we've sort of got an L shape now, or yeah, something like that. Anyway, so I made it to the end. I made sure that I crocheted this together just by using the first 4 squares. So I had to sort of do a little bit of going faster on this side than on this side, but it was only a couple of stitches here and there, so this worked out really well. So try to make sure you get it like that as well. So I've got 2 full free squares here. Okay, so I'm going to cut this off, pull this through, and I will sew in the ends later. So now I am going to do the other side as well. So what you now need to do is lay your panel like so and put the 4 squares onto that. Okay, so you have a hole here, right? Again, this might seem confusing, so go and check out my picture in the blog, because that will show you exactly what to do. And I'm going to turn it all so that again I can start from the outside. Okay, so I have here the 2 free ones, I have the 4 on the side. So I'm going to get started with this here, putting these together, and then I will have a neck here, an opening for the head. Okay, and now of course my yarn has fallen on the floor as usual. Oh, there it is. Right, okay, and we do exactly the same thing, except here it's going to be easier because we have stitches that end here and we have stitches that end here, so we don't have a funny side like on this side here where we didn't have the V's sticking out. So once again I am doing the same thing. She says. Okay, so we're doing a slip stitch, slip knot, other side of the hook. Oh, I'm getting overexcited because I'm nearly finished. And here, once again, into the corner here to get started, and here, yeah, try and have a good look to see if you can find that first V, and I just pick up, is this the, yeah, this is a working yarn. I'll just pick up the outside loop and I do a slip stitch. Then here I pick up the inside loop, and here I pick the loop that's closest to me as well. Okay, so I'm just picking up the corresponding loops, and you will find that I am picking up the wrong ones. Can you believe it? Yes, of course, this is facing not me, this is facing the other way. So let me just redo that. Oh, typical, isn't it? Right, so this one here, then we pick up this V. Why didn't I see that earlier? So it's always good to check. So this V here, and then yes, of course, because this is lying not the way we usually work. Usually you have to sort of, it's facing that way, so you have to tip it like this, but of course this way it is facing this way. So here we go, and this one here, see, and so the second one is on the other side. There we go. Once you've corrected that mistake, you know what you're doing, so you can get on with it, Anya. Oh, honestly, a bit more yarn is needed here. There we go. So just picking up the corresponding stitches there. I'll do a couple more before I show you what it looks like. And then of course you're going to have to sew in any ends that you haven't sewn in just yet. And then we will be ready. See, look. That looks alright. And on the other side it looks like this. So there'll be sort of a little bit of a ridge, which I do quite like. But after you've worn it for a little while, I find the ridge just sort of gets flatter, because the other one that I have the grape coloured one. I've been wearing that quite a lot already, and yeah, it's sort of, it falls around your body better now. The first time I wore it, it was like sort of like cardboard almost, but now it sort of tends to relax a little bit. So do persevere when you're wearing it. Okay, so I am going to continue doing this. I will sew in my ends, and I will see you in the park. Oh, I cannot wait to go and do this photo shoot. I've already said to my husband we're going to do it, so hopefully the weather's nice tomorrow and I can go and do this photo shoot. I will see you tomorrow in the park. Bye.